So thank you for attending our May meeting. We've been meeting monthly for a long stretch now, and we're making good progress on passing the End Kidney Deaths Act. So as usual, our agenda, we'll speak about our progress. We'll hopefully have time for breakout rooms and an open discussion afterwards. So as I've said in the past, there are many other kidney bills being proposed, and that's very encouraging. I was told it's not since the 80s that we've had this much attention around organ donation. So this is excellent. But as we know, only one of the bills saves thousands of lives and billions of tax dollars. So our movement to pass the End Kidney Deaths Act is democracy in action. So I just want to share a quick thing, and that is superb news. Michael Lalo, a person who gave his kidney to a stranger and was an NYPD detective, has joined our team. And when I was talking to Mike about joining our team, he told me a really great story. So when he was working, I think at NKDO as the leader of NKDO, I invited him to Albany to help me lobby for the passage of the Living Donor Support Act. And at the time, Mike told me, he didn't tell me at the time, but at the time he was thinking, hey, this is kind of a waste of my day. I'm taking the train up to Albany. This isn't going to accomplish anything. And we're just kind of like, this is a day of lost work for me. I'm not really sure why I said yes. Then he said when he got up to Albany and began talking to the legislative leaders, he realized this is democracy in action. This is really important. We are persuading people to pass a law which would make New York State the best state in the country for living kidney donors. And so in the end, that law passed unanimously with bipartisan support. It was signed by the governor in December of 2022, and Mike was a big part of making that bill pass. So I'm really, really excited to have Mike on our team. And a little bit later, we'll have a chance to hear from Mike. He is going to be working primarily on publicity initially, and it's just going to be an excellent thing to have him among us. So as we know, the End Kidney Deaths Act is now a 10-year pilot program. So we're now going to talk about ranges of the number of people we're going to save, as well as a range of the amount of money we're going to save. So because we're just not sure, will it be 6,000 people coming forward per year to donate their kidneys and receive the refundable tax credit? Will it be more? So we're speaking about the range of, by the 10th year, we'll have between 60 and 100,000 lives saved, as well as a $14 to $25 billion saved. So that's very important for us to understand. We cannot predict the future, but we know we're going to save tens of thousands of lives and billions of tax dollars. Again, it's a $50,000 tax credit allocated over 5 years, $10,000 a year. Very important to remember when we're speaking to people that in surveys, the majority of American voters support compensating kidney donors. Now, what we're really doing is we are following the NOTA plan. When Al Gore, who is the lead sponsor of NOTA, was speaking about the bill, he said that if the center judges' efforts to improve voluntary donation are unsuccessful, consideration in progressing fashion would be given to the following. Number one, first, provision of incentives, such as a voucher system or tax credit for a donor's estate. Now, we got to remember, that was in the plan from the very beginning. And this team that's assembled here on this call is finally following through because it's been a failure. We have not had an increase in the number of living kidney donors in 24 years. Every policy proposal has failed to increase that number. We are finally doing what Al Gore suggested, not just suggested, commanded when he was making plans to pass this law. So we are providing a tax credit for all kidney donors who give kidneys to strangers. Hopefully down the line, the plan is for all kidney donors, because certainly we want the number of donors to become so large that we will no longer have a shortage of transplantable kidneys. That's what we're aiming for. Now, the End Kidney Deaths Act will pass in 2024. If we don't get to the finish line, which is usually a sentence I do not say, it's because we did not apply enough energy. This is a unique opportunity. This is our year. We have 7 months to get the job done. And that's plenty of time. Remember, in one of my first meetings, I talked about a law that went through in 3 days. So 7 months is plenty of time. Now, I put up this picture to remind you all that as of 2 months ago, you are all free range. You are all able to advocate. I will support you and our team will support you, but we really want you to be independently advocating for the passage of the End Kidney Deaths Act. What are the 2 ways that you need to advocate? You need to engage in publicity and our legislative persuasion campaign. Now, when I'm talking about publicity, I'm not only talking about media attention, I'm talking about getting more community members engaged, and I'll be going into details about that. And of course, the legislative persuasion campaign is getting your House member and your senators to become either co-sponsors or sponsors of the End Kidney Deaths Act. One very small way that you can help is to increase our visibility, to just Google End Kidney Deaths Act, and then scroll down and click on our page, which comes up right now second on my Google account. But I just want to make sure that when people Google our act, they don't by mistake think that we are the act that's above ours, the Sewell and Billy Rakes Act. I want ours to be seen, so that's one way, a very good way for us to get more visibility when people are searching for us. We have had some good publicity in the last month. I think that in our last call, during our last meeting, that was around the time that the New York Times article came out. Since then, we've had a Vox article that was picked up by MSN. We've had 3 radio interviews, the Jimmy Malone show, a show in Toronto, and today I was interviewed. Today was the Jimmy Malone show. I was interviewed in Toronto, and then of course in New York City, AM station interviewed me, and those were all good forms of publicity, and we got some new supporters as a result. In addition, upcoming, there's going to be a National Public Radio. They're actually going to do 2 stories. One is going to be on the End Kidney Deaths Act, and one is going to be on donors who give kidneys to strangers. So that's really exciting because it started out as 1 show, and now it's 1 segment, and now it's going to be 2. And then I was told that our Philadelphia Inquirer article is going to come out on May 13th. Now, in order to prepare the journalist for that article, I provided her with a donor, a recipient, a medical professional, and an ethicist. And that's our plan. Mike Lalo is going to be arranging for different journalists around the country to cover this Life and Tax Saving Act. And with it, we're going to need local help because these shows want to interview people from the local from the local area. And so it's very important for us to be ready to speak to journalists. I will check with you before I give your name out to the journalist, but I'm hoping the answer is going to be yes, I'd like to speak. If that is not the case, we do have plenty of people throughout the country. I'm very proud and happy to say. Now, you would think the New York Times article would be the best thing that could happen to us. But in reality, the best kind of publicity that is the most effective are local stories that name local congressional leaders and say, hey, Representative Espaillat, you should really be supporting this bill. So those kind of op-eds or local news stories are actually the most effective in getting the allies that we need in both the House and the Senate. So it's kind of disappointing, but the truth is I did some counting, and out of the hundreds of community members we have, only 10% of us are engaged in publicity and speaking with congressional leaders. We really need to engage the other 90%. As I said, we have 7 months left, so please consider getting very activated in helping us get this bill to the finish line. Now, op-eds. That's a great way to name your local leader and get the support that we need. Unfortunately, only 3 are in development as far as I know. We're looking for publishers for those, but we need more people if you are a writer, or even if you want to work with me on developing your ideas for local publication, that would be great. We're going to be, as I said earlier, working throughout the country to get as much publicity as we can, and writing an op-ed is a great way to get that publicity. As I said, we need to grow our community. Ask your friends and family to get involved. If they don't want to be invited to these monthly meetings, or they don't want to attend meetings with lawmakers, that is totally fine, but having their support is very valuable. I would like for you all to check out our supporters page. On it is a new letter from kidney donor athletes, a terrific letter that they wrote in support of the End Kidney Deaths Act. We also now have a list of the organizations that support us. as well as, of course, the individuals. If your photo is not yet on the supporters page and you would like it to be, please send it to me, as well as what you would like written beneath the photo. Now, our biggest obstacle is finding co-leads for the End Kidney Deaths Act. We need to write to and meet with Democrats in the House and Republicans in the Senate to join as a co-lead so that we can get this bill introduced. That is the biggest priority for the month of May. Once our bill is introduced, it will be taken more seriously. We'll be able to get a lot of co-sponsors and really press to get that bill voted on so that it can become a law by the end of the year. I sent out emails to everyone with all of your state community members on it. What would be ideal is if you could meet together to coordinate strategies. I know that Wisconsin's team is going to meet after this call on the Zoom. If other states want to stick around and meet as well, that would be great. Or if you want to organize Zoom meetings, I'm happy to help with those. Having in-person meetings with legislative leaders is key. If you live close to a legislative leader's office and you can stop by or have an in-person meeting, it's much more impactful than having one over Zoom. Host a discussion in your local library or in a community group. You can give talks, you can host discussions, and you can also join together to write letters to your congressional leaders signed by multiple constituents. That's also very impactful. We really need to press hard to get attention and get more community members on our side. Remember, the value of meeting congressional staffers in person is more impactful. This is a new infographic that we created. I'll share it with you when I send the recording for this of this presentation. I think it's a good infographic. It's straight to the point. It's got a lot of information in it, but it's hopefully highly readable. And it highlights the very many excellent reasons why the End Kidney Deaths Act must pass as soon as possible to save the lives of people who otherwise we are certain will die from the kidney shortage. So remember, so now I'm going to be providing you with sort of fodder for your discussions with your communities as well as your congressional leaders. So important to remember, in the last 24 years, we have not had an increase in the number of living kidney donors. Increasing the amount of people, or providing more reimbursement programs has not shown that has not demonstrated that it helps in gaining more living kidney donors. And far over half of kidney donors are fully reimbursed, but we know that to save lives, we must incentivize. It's just not enough to reimburse people. The incentive is what's going to bring people to make the choice to donate their kidneys to a stranger. Now, a lot of people say, but if we provide some sort of financial reward for kidney donors, we are no longer honoring them. And I just want to share with you that we provide financial rewards as a way of honoring people. If you win the Nobel Prize, you get $1 million. If you win an Olympic medal, you are handsomely reimbursed, handsomely rewarded for that. So getting money and being honored are not contradictions. Plasma is incentivized. It's the 10th largest export in the United States, and you can donate twice a week and take home between $800 and $1,200 monthly. A surrogate parent would earn $55,000 on average the first time and $65,000 for the second pregnancy. Egg donors can receive up to $60,000 in compensation over their lifetime, and sperm donors can earn almost $800 a month for their donations. So having a financial reward for providing the rental of your womb or the selling of your plasma, eggs, and sperm is something that is well compensated and very much legal in this country. And actually, we have a shortage of none of those things as a result of our compensation. Remember that before donating, living kidney donors go through a very thorough physical and mental health screening. And those who step forward to donate, they will not have their life expectancy affected. In fact, people who donate are so healthy that they live longer than the general population. This is something that I learned this month. It's totally new information, and I just want to share it with you. I was a bit surprised, and that is that the pig kidneys that are being experimented with now, and all the different artificial kidneys that are being created, that they are never going to function at a high level like a human kidney does. And so they are being considered as temporary substitutes for dialysis and as a bridge therapy until someone can get a human kidney. So having a pig kidney in your body is a better experience than being on dialysis, but because of the low blood pressure of the pig, it's not compatible with the human physiology, and also the anatomy of the pig kidney is so very different. So it can reach a certain level of functionality, but it's not going to be a substitute for a human kidney. So even with these innovations, the need for human kidneys will remain. So going from dialysis to transplant means going from dependence on a machine and a tendency to become very depressed to a world of independence and freedom. The depression rate of people on dialysis is 63%. The death rate within the first 5 years is over 50%. And there are just so many inequities right now with the way the whole system is running. Those without a high school degree are 3 times more likely to have kidney disease and half as likely to get transplanted, in comparison with college graduates who are half as likely to get kidney disease and twice as likely to get transplanted. On average, kidney patients need 1.5 kidney transplants over the course of their lifetime. And this is a very important statistic. Nationally, the percentage of Americans on the kidney wait list are removed without getting a kidney transplant. That is 30 to 35% of people on the kidney wait list, and it's about 12,000 patients annually, or 1,000 patients a month, who are healthy enough when they join the wait list and are removed either because they become too sick to be transplanted or because they've died. It is very rough statistics, and we need to turn things around and pass the End Kidney Deaths Act. I just want to spend a moment remembering Representative Donald Payne Jr. He passed away tragically on April 24th of this year. He was a big supporter of our bill, and he was on dialysis. He had diabetes. He died from heart failure. He was from New Jersey, and it's just very, very sad, and it's emblematic because he was on the wait list. He's one of the 12,000 who very sadly died before he could get a kidney transplant. This chart is adapted from Dr. Greg Hess. He's on this call, and he's a big supporter of the End Kidney Deaths Act and a kidney recipient himself from this time last year. He received a kidney from a stranger. He created this chart to demonstrate how safe it is to be a living kidney donor. You can see that far more risky activities are not only sanctioned but rewarded, financially rewarded in our country. And so we've got 136 loggers. You can read through it yourself. It's just pretty dramatic how much safer living kidney donation is. However, people's perceptions of living kidney donation is that it's extremely dangerous. So it's very good for us to be well-versed in how very safe living kidney donation is. Now, this is maybe maybe I'm going a bit far on this one, but this is the way I view it. Those opposed to the End Kidney Deaths Act believe that having someone die from the kidney shortage is better than if someone receives a kidney from an incentivized donor, right? These are the choices. And I believe, as you know, that incentivized donation is the way to go. So here we go. The End Kidney Deaths Act is aligned with our Constitution. This is of the people, created by kidney policy experts, by the people. Donors are at the forefront of getting this bill to the finish line. And of course, for the people. This is for the kidney patients who we care so deeply about, and we want them to be able to be transformed with a kidney transplant. The Constitution guarantees the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And this is consistent with the right to get a life-saving kidney. When you ask a kidney recipient, they're going to most likely tell you that they have now life, and longevity, they have liberty from dialysis, and they have the ability to pursue happiness, to travel, to graduate from school, to attend weddings, to get married themselves, to have children, you name it. Vitality and longevity follows from a kidney transplant. Now, with donation, willing, healthy people consent to use their bodies to save another person's life. And for those who are willing and able, kidney donation is highly rewarding. One example is Chrissy Perham. I had a chance to speak with Chrissy last month. She earned 2 gold medals and a silver medal in Barcelona in 1992. She also donated her kidney to swimmer Missy Franklin's father. And Mark McIntosh asked Chrissy, hey, what was more rewarding, earning all those medals at the Olympics or donating your kidney? And Chrissy replied, without a doubt, saving a life was far more rewarding than earning those medals. For me, it's just about the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And in donor surveys, 95% would do it again if they could, and 98% surveyed by the NKDO approve of contemplating donors. So now we're going to move into how to pitch the End Kidney Deaths Act. Let's imagine that you're in person in a staffer's office or just speaking to one of your neighbors about why you think this bill should get to the finish line. First, you want to describe the End Kidney Deaths Act in brief. Then you want to speak about your own personal connection to End Kidney Deaths. To kidney disease. Then you may want to review a few statistics about, and you can use our handouts for that. And I'll be resharing them in our next, in my next email to you. You want to then restate that there are going to be between 60 and 100,000 lives saved, as well as between 14 and $25 billion saved. Ask for questions, and if you're meeting with a staffer, make the request that the staffer, that the leader either becomes a sponsor of the bill, that means the lead, or a co-sponsor. For the sponsorship, we only want Democrats on the House side and Republicans on the Senate side. That's a very bipartisan thing, right? We're looking for people from across the aisle to get this bill to become a law. I want to share with you this great letter that was just written by one of our families, the Collins family. They wrote this letter to Senator Rubio, and I really like the way that Marilyn wrote about the voters, right? That this is going to be great for you, Senator Rubio, because it will help you make and keep your voters very happy. So I just want you to see, I'll just quickly read it to you. My family believes this is the right thing to do, both morally and politically. If you add up all the people waiting for kidneys, plus moms, dads, uncles, aunts, friends, neighbors, etc., you're talking a lot of voters. I just sent an email out to 300 people who are aware of my daughter's need for a kidney, asking that they put a poster about it on Nextdoor. I am one person. Imagine the favorable emails that will go out from all the families in Florida who know people who need kidneys if Senator Rubio becomes a sponsor of the bill. People remember politicians who care about these kind of issues that save the life of someone they know. So this is an excellent email because it's personal, and it also shows the leader that this is a way to keep the people who are putting you in office happy. Okay, so please write those kind of letters to your leaders. I know that I've sent you form letters that you can certainly use, but I think these kind of letters that are personal are more effective at persuading people. I'm going to switch gears for a moment. I just want to share with you, there is this film that was created by a person who gave her kidney to a stranger, Confessions of a Good Samaritan. Believe it or not, I've seen the film 4 times. If you want to see it on your own, please let me know. I can give you a link. But this film is finally being released to the general public, and they are arranging screenings. So I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you so that you can take a closer look at this, but it is being screened in New York City on June 28th. And what the creator is asking is that if you want to create a local screening of the film, they are very open to that. They really want the transplant community to see this film. I think that the film gives a really good history of non-directed donation. And so I'm going to send you the email of the contact person, and I can also help facilitate a screening if you would like in your area. So this can just be a local library. You can have a screening, or any place that you think is appropriate. Okay, so the founding team of the Coalition to Modify NOTA is heading to Philadelphia from June 2nd to June 5th for the American Transplant Congress. I went last year when it was in San Diego, and I thought it was an incredible opportunity to really get new allies. I'm going to be wearing my T-shirt, the End Kidney Death Act T-shirt, the entire time I'm there. And we are going to have a cocktail party. I'm sorry, there's going to be a discussion about compensation from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Two transplant surgeons are going to debate the issue. And then that evening from 5 to 7, we're going to have a cocktail party. We're going to host one in order to speak with our allies and also make new allies. This is a meeting with thousands of transplant professionals, and it's a great way for us to get the word out about our life-saving bill.
Elaine, if I could just interject there.
Please.
The cocktail party is on Monday evening from 5 to 7 at the Iron Bar right across the street from the Marriott. If anyone wants a formal invitation, more details, please write either Elaine or me, and I'll send you all the details.
Yeah, thanks, Ned. It's very exciting. And so this will be a great opportunity for us to really enlarge our community. So one final plea to get you engaged with the End Kidney Death Act. We can save from the number of people who live in Palo Alto, around 60,000, to the number of people who live in Albany, 100,000. I know I've shown you football stadiums before, and now we're going to cities. I really just want to show you that we are really engaged in something that's going to make such a big difference in not only the lives of individuals, also in the lives of their family and friends. Our next meeting is not going to be the first Tuesday because I'm going to be in Philadelphia with the team. So our next meeting is Tuesday, June 11th from 5 until 6 p.m. And I will be sending out a good link and not one that's problematic like this week. So thank you all for listening. I'm now going to, let's open up the floor for questions, and then perhaps after that, we'll go into breakout rooms.